Welcome back. It actually happened, and we are doing episode two. This is our brief little recap as well as conversation for The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2, titled Through the Valley. Along with me is Brad from Canada. Brad, how are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you? I'm doing better than certain characters of the show we're about to discuss.
Who?
I can't tell you. Not yet.
Oh, okay. And I am Coach from Scene Invaders. As we said last week, basically Brad and I have both played the games as well as we are watching with bated breath. I think we're both wishing we did what you did for season one, Brad, which was play the games along with the events as they happen.
Yeah, but after what happened with season one, I enjoyed it so much playing the game with it. I knew there was going to be a season two, but I just couldn't wait around because I had to play this game. And I went into playing the game with my roommates, not knowing what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was definitely
Yeah, it's
it's
funny. You've
gosh,
seen
and they
so
did it.
many you've seen so many videos of like people filming themselves, the gamers that have played the game with the people who are the watchers and they
Hmm.
are just watching the series. And they are having some red wedding type results, but we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah, I don't know how this wouldn't make you want to play the game, or if you played the game, it wouldn't make you need to watch this series.
I would be curious after the fact of basically after the season, will there be people picking up the game? Will they be, enjoying the game, or will we just rehash the same problematic fans that we did before?
Yeah, true. We always have those though.
But as we start out the episode, we basically carrying on from last episode that we hear that, well, the infected are kind of just below the surface potentially. We see the tendrils that are coming out of the pipe as they are searching for the next victim, their food or source, or just whatever. They're searching for the next.
Yeah, just kind of wreaking havoc and just because one thing that the infected are is chaotic. When they are chaotic, like it is 0 to 60, like laying dormant, then running like mad.
We also have Jesse waking up Ellie. Basically, she is overslept and they're trying to get her out on patrol. And basically, she's going to be going out with Jesse. She requests, ironically, to go with Joel, who is already on patrol with Dina.
Yeah, and the reason she wants to go with Joel is to avoid Jesse because of the kiss that her and Dina had.
And Jesse thinks it's this thing with Joel, and she tries to explain to him of like, Joel and I, for lack of a better term, they're like peas and carrots. Like,
Yeah,
yes, they may fight, but they're
we're always
ultimately
going to
going
be
to be
us.
okay.
Yeah, we're always going to be us. And I just kind of like that everybody else is more concerned than the two of them are concerned with each other because they know each other.
Right. Before they go out, their presence has been requested at the local town meeting place, where basically Tommy's wife, and I hate to say Tommy's wife, I forget the character's name, of course.
So do I.
Um, but she runs the whole place. Um,
Yeah,
and
she seems to have I don't know, maybe like I don't want to say authority, but I think she just has a way about her that makes people go to her.
yes,
Yeah.
she's kind of like the town mayor. She sits on all the councils and everything. At some point, it'll spring in both of our heads, but basically, she almost mediates the apology of Seth, who is the old guy who said the bigoted things to Ellie and Dina
Yeah,
at
during
the wedding.
the dance.
And basically, he apologizes and, oh, I've made you steak sandwiches, for going out on uh, on patrol. A key thing here is there's a huge difference between the video game of the resolution, and one of the greatest lines that I experienced in the games that like made me laugh out loud, which is, do you know the saying, Brad?
I just say it.
So basically, like they get sandwiches, and Jesse's like, "Oh, what is in Ellie's turn?" Is basically, "Oh, they're bigot sandwiches."
Bacon sandwiches. I believe Tommy's wife's name Maria.
Maria, that's it. The mayor of the town, Maria. So Maria basically sends them on their way. They are carried with the game calls bigot sandwiches.
Bacon sandwiches.
I will say I do really like the acting choices by the actress playing Ellie in this. How she stone faces him, and
Yeah.
just yeah,
Yeah.
you did
She's a
you
talent.
effed up.
Yeah. When you drink, the truth comes out. So stop
Right.
it. Like, I don't accept your apology, basically. Piss off.
Right. So at this point, we have Joel and Dina on a patrol, and then we have Jesse and Ellie on a patrol.
And there's a storm a coming.
And there is a storm coming
In more
in
ways
more
than one.
ways than one. And basically, the show basically shows, Abby, the new character. Basically, she is out on her own after talking with her group, and they're basically debating on how they were going to get Joel.
Yeah, she's taken the first watch, and their plan was just to find a patrol and force them to take them to Joel.
Yep.
The
And
the
she
rest of the crew
is
is not on board with this.
no, and even the character of Owen basically saying, "No, we're going to talk her out of it." Basically,
Yeah, don't worry, I have a plan. What's your
right,
plan? My plan is to talk her out of this. Yeah.
right,
So as you find out, like, they're militia, they're ex-Fireflies, now wolves, but they don't want to hurt anybody. They're
yeah,
just more against them than the infected. Like, yes, this sucks, but you find out the reveal on why she wants to
right.
kill Joel so bad.
And then, they're with her, but they're not necessarily with what the extent of she wants to do.
Yeah.
Out
They're
on
supporting her. They're not on board with her.
out on patrol, she sees what ends up being Joel and Dina, and basically tries to almost intercept them.
Yeah, thinking that they can take whoever she ambushes can take her to Joel.
Right.
And
But
they're really out of their depth because they thought it was a camp, not a damn city.
right.
So they're like way in over their heads. Like, this is an impossible task. Unless
Through a
there's luck.
series, well, yes. And then basically through a series of events, basically she slips, falls, basically loses grip, and falls into basically
Nest.
a nest of infected that has frozen. And the way it's explained to us is the infected is using the dead and the snow and all that about to keep them insulated.
Yeah, like a bunch of coiled snakes. If
Yeah.
you in the winter, they all coil together, they all wait until they erupt.
Right.
And erupt they did.
Right. And at this point, this is where we kind of have two stories that, well, you have three different things that interlude, but basically you have two different groups. You have Abby is now running for her life as a horde is chasing her.
A horde, an army,
Just
like thousands.
thousands. And she comes to a building that, she has to leap above the wall, and the infected are just slamming themselves.
Just shows how brutal the infected are,
Infected are.
because they just crash into the walls. They're crawling all over each other. It's like
And there's such an intensity
like
as
a
she's
colony of
trying.
ants.
Oh, it's crazy. And she's trying to escape them, and basically has to maneuver along a chain link fence, and the infected are just pushing against it, almost pushing through.
Crush right down, because
Yes.
there's that one brutal scene where the one's reaching right through, and it's the the fence barb is through its fingers, but it just keeps reaching, and so the fence
Yes.
is dragging. So it shows like just the absolute desperation, whether it's hunger, madness, or whatever.
And
It
this in the game is a spot on scene for scene, minute for
Oh yeah,
minute, cell by cell, where she is just trying to just crawl, and an infected jumps on her, and you hear the gunshot, and then what comes with the gunshot is the silence and the ringing,
yeah.
and she doesn't know where she is or who she's with or what.
Or who saved her, or what have you.
And all we hear is, yeah, I think it's come with me, or
You okay, kid?
you okay? Yeah, basically he's reaching out and come with me. It's almost a come with me if you want to
If
live
you want to
moment.
live.
At the same time, the horde has almost split and is
They're
basically
heading to Jackson.
also heading to Jackson. And we see the preparation of Jackson ready for the horde of basically, kids in the basement, man the walls, as they attack, the kids go down and the adults go up. I believe is what they
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, they said the young and the old go down. Everybody else, able-bodied, lots of ammo, get upstairs, get off the streets, and we just lay waste to whatever we can. They have contingency plans, which they seem very practical, but
Very medieval.
very medieval. Rolling oil barrels, shooting. They have homemade flamethrowers. And you see just the amount of ammunition that they're going through as they're stepping on spent shells, slipping on them. And I thought that was just kind of a neat visual.
I have to give them props for a trope that is often misused, which is if you shoot a gas tank or you shoot, like, it'll just explode.
Yeah.
No, that's not really how it works.
That's...
Some every once in a million, or 1,000 or whatever it is, but it's not the regular.
It is based on a video game. It's not a video game. The red barrels don't always explode.
Exactly. And it's one of those, like, yes, they spread the fuel and all of that, and then light it on fire by throwing the torch.
Yeah, that was cool.
At this point, Tommy sees the bloater coming.
Yeah, amongst all the infected, I think that if an infected lives long enough, it becomes a bloater.
Yes.
And bloaters are endowed with kind of advanced strength and a much more resilience. And as soon as he sees it, he's like, they're going to breach.
Yes.
We can't stop. And they do breach.
And he is, at this point, he has left the top of the building. He is going down to join 3 other men as they are putting on flamethrowers.
Yes.
And basically ready to,
they're going to cook some infected.
they're gonna hopefully cook some bloat.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? Like, there was an honest portrayal there where the bloater breaches and you have these 4 guys and suddenly just 2 turn.
Yeah, and they run. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're just unloading weapons, and you get a really creepy thing when the bloater kind of corners Tommy with the flamethrower, and you see the flamethrower, the fuel depleting as he's just getting desperate. And as this is happening, it's not like it's one thing going on. There's like 1,000 infected.
Yes.
Spilling into the streets. Just attacking everybody with teeth and claws and grit. And it is brutal.
And
it's so brutal.
Wave after wave, and you have, people that are just unloading shells left and right. And there is a point where Maria basically, who let the dogs out? Maria let the dogs out.
Yeah, release the hounds. Which I was very happy.
Yes.
When they went out the attack dogs, the cage is open, and these very high trained animals just
This was the only part where
attack.
this was a disbelief part for me, where I was just like, how did they train them to only go after the infected? But well, it works fine.
It looked cool.
It looked cool.
It looked cool.
Tommy comes an inch of his life, basically fries the bloater, and the bloater basically collapses in front of him.
Yeah, succumbs to the flame, and but you were kind of like, oh Jesus, what are they doing here?
As this fight is going
the game,
on,
but it isn't the game.
Exactly.
Like, this isn't the game. This is based on the game, and there's some similarities, which we'll talk about. But
and then as this is going on, we also have the other events where, Joel has basically said, "My name is Joel" to Abby, and now Abby is trying to process everything of, oh my God, this is the guy I've been searching for. Oh my God, he just saved my life. Oh my God, I can't hear. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh my God, there's a million infected still attacking us.
And they basically escape into the ski. It's almost like a gondola housing type thing.
Yeah,
or a ski lift house.
They can't make it to Jackson because this is not just like a little snowfall. This is a torrential, life-ending blizzard if you're caught in it. So they hop on the horses rather than going to Jackson. Abby says, "No, hey, my friends are over here. Yes. Let's go there." So,
and you have, I think Abby is riding on the back of Joel's horse the whole time. So it's like you just have Joel saving her and saving her and saving her.
Yeah.
And then basically, they get up to the cabin in the
cabin in the woods.
Mountain, the cabin in the woods.
It is a nice cabin.
I mean, at this point, the town of Jackson has succeeded. There's a couple of they have stopped the horde, I guess. Is the basic way.
Yeah, they've eliminated all the infected, but there's
a couple of great chilling scenes where like a guy's bit on the wrist and he's handing a gun to his friend to kill him.
Yep. Oh, and the bodies everywhere, people pulling everything, and they're shooting the bodies, and it's chilling. It's chilling. I mean, to say you won the day is a very far reach. You survived the day.
I was going to say, what is the motto of the Fireflies? Endure and survive. Well,
endure and survive.
Basically that is what the town of Jackson has done, and they're going to have to rebuild.
Yeah.
And then basically we spend the rest of the episode up in the cabin. We have a couple little clips back and forth, but basically the group meets, Dina and Joel meets Abby and her pack of wolves.
Yeah.
And
Dina is suffering from frostbite.
Yes.
And one of the young ladies attempts to help her. And then Abby just turns and, oh God, this is tough. This was tough. This was tough in the game, and this was, I knew it would be tough reliving it if they did it, and they did it.
They did. They basically shoot Joel in the leg and basically takes out his legs with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And basically at this point, Dina is put under. Basically.
Yeah. She's tranquilized, I guess, with a sedative that's apparently it's going to put her to sleep for an hour.
Yeah,
and
it's
an hour is all Abby needs.
It's basically, they talk about Abby does monologue a bunch. She does almost have the evil monologue where they talk about the code that they have learned up with Under Isaac and the wolves, and it's basically,
I guess it's perspective. I mean, what side do you want? Are you a survivor? Are you a killer? And we learned something. We learned Abby's motives a lot earlier in the show than we do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason Abby wants to kill Joel is because the doctor that he shot was her father.
Right.
And that led her on a 5-year revenge like motivation.
Mhm.
I guess it would be good motivation. There's no internet.
No,
What
it's
else would keep you busy? Well, she did keep busy by joining the militia, staying with the wolves, going from the Firefly to the wolves, and
right.
just splintering off when she needed to.
Yeah, and I mean, as many of the gamers know, she's monologuing, and I believe Joel says the infamous words of basically, why don't you just get down to what you've come
Yeah,
here to
just
do?
get it over with. Like, quit your job. Quit,
She's
quit
basically
your
like,
jabbering,
yeah,
and she's like, "No, you don't get to hurry this."
right.
And then out of the corner of her eye, she sees,
A set of golf clubs,
yeah,
and she just starts going to town on the knee to cause as much pain as possible.
and just beats Joel half to death
Right.
as she is doing the beating. Well, somebody makes their way to the cabin.
Yeah, at this point we have Jesse and Ellie have been notified of where Joel is I'm sorry, Ellie, and then Ellie leaves right away, trying to get to Joel, Um, she sees the horses, so like she knows, okay, Joel's there, and she enters the building, and gun drawn, comes in,
and
opens the door.
is quickly subdued.
Yes, where she is hit by one of the wolves and brought to the ground. And at this point, we see some top tier acting.
It's amazing, amazing acting on everybody,
Yes.
everybody. From the desperation, Joel, get up, and
And you can see him just
try and get up,
try and get up.
and like I knew he wasn't gonna,
Right.
but I thought, you know what? If all the wolves left, I bet you he would have got up to make sure she was okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's just Joel.
And at which point, Abby puts the final dagger or the golf club shaft
Yeah, the golf
in
shaft
Joel.
gets him,
Uh,
and that ends Joel. And you have again that great acting
yeah,
uh,
from Bella
from
Ramsey,
Bella
just
Ramsey. I'm gonna kill you, and just the despair, the screech, the sorrow, anger,
mhm.
everything.
And it results back
Everything.
to just a boot in the ribs. You can hear her ribs break. You can just see all the air leave her body, and at the same time is the wolves are living by their code of
Hmm.
basically like she has not done anything to them,
Nope, nope.
and
We go.
they at that point they leave, and you see Ellie just crawl her way over to Joel in
Yeah,
almost a fetal position and
yeah,
just curl up with Joel.
and yeah, that was heavy. It was
Yeah,
really, really heavy.
I will say in the game, it's one of the first times that I've ever cried from a scene during the game.
Oh yeah,
Um, I will say personally, I do kind of prefer the way the game handled it a
I
little bit.
I did too. Um, Now it's not like we're playing Donkey Kong. The advancements that they have with these games, with the mocaption, with the voice actors, with
Is
what they
you're playing as them. You're
you are,
controlling them.
so you embody them.
Right.
So their loss is your loss. And I don't know if that just hit, but I rolled a tear for this one too. 'Cause
Hmm.
I knew it was happening, but it was just, and then that scene that was just so damn chilling as they're riding the horse's back and they're dragging a body.
Yeah.
And
You have Tommy, not
well,
Tommy. Jesse has made it on
Jesse,
scene, and you have Bella, who is almost catatonic at this point. And
Ellie.
Ellie, sorry. You have Ellie, who is almost catatonic, grinding back, and then you have Dina slowly coming out of waking up.
Yeah.
And yeah, the it looks almost mummified, but basically wrapped up in a sheet and just
They wrapped him up
dragging
in
the
sheets and it's
body
just
of Joel.
dragging Joel's body back to Jackson.
And you see it in the juxtaposition of the wolf crew climbing up the mountain or trekking out of
Heading their
Jackson,
way. Yep.
and just the camera pans into it. And it's an episode that I knew that they were going to do, and I hope that the response was going to be ironically what it is
Yeah.
I am thankful that the way people handled it. There were some people trying to spoil it, but like for the most point, everybody kind of let it happen, and
And
there
let people
was
discover it.
yes, but there wasn't anger afterwards.
No. There was sadness.
Yes, and that's the key thing. And I think I'm really going to be curious how they do viewer wise
Yes, me too.
this next
Uh,
episode.
I think the next episode, well, you got the little, we won't talk about it, the little, and
Teaser, and yeah,
next time on The Last of Us Part 2,
right,
just not as cheery.
same bat channel.
Yeah. I get, well, we'll talk about that next week, but some highlights was the stunning acting.
Yep.
The scenery continues to impress.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. You got like a snowy cabin, a snowy village, a snowy town. It looks desolate. It looks cold, but it still looks happy until
Right.
it doesn't. The
Mm-hmm.
amazing visual of all of the infected, just I'm trying to think of a proper adjective to come up with how they move. Just the way they just pile, the way they spill everywhere.
It's very fluid. It's very and the part that I listened to and did a couple listened to like the official podcast as well as
Oh, it's
trying to
good.
seek out some of the behind the scenes is um they used Weta, which is the infamous New Zealand company that did special effects for Lord of the Rings and
Oh,
those
okay.
type of things. And they use Weta and real, digital and practical at the same time.
Yeah, you can't even tell, honestly. I mean,
And
naturally, the bloater's the only thing that. But I
what
mean,
they were directing was they wanted these things to almost run into and bonk into each other, or almost like crabs in a basket, pull one down to get the next one out.
yeah, just like a visceral, like I said, almost insect-like,
Right.
just a attack. And once they were attacking, then it just was savage.
Absolutely.
I mean, and like they're not zombies. They're infected,
Right.
effective killers. They're
Yeah.
killers.
Well, it's that hive mind that they have presented is
Yeah,
that
and
basically
that's
is
another thing that they
if
got.
one, then all.
And they did discover that we might have to get out of Jackson
Right.
because they might be more under us. As
So
they,
yeah, there's a lot of questions left out there. It's one of those. I'm still on board because
oh yeah,
I want to see as much as like yes, to me the game is superior, but that's recency bias. That is me playing it physically
yep,
and
yep.
controlling it, as well as I've already experienced it once.
But the game didn't have the massive attack on Jackson,
No.
which kind of would have been fun to play.
Yeah, can you imagine
Like
going
it
back
would.
and forth?
Oh my god, that would have been so much fun to play. Like if you played as Tommy,
Right.
or
I'm
but
almost going by like the old Grand Theft Auto 5 controls where as an event's happening, you flip between players.
yes, you want to go to Michael, you want to go. Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
And I'm
Oh, that
like,
would have
oh
been
man,
so
that would
cool.
be kind of cool. Like I I'm just happy people are experiencing this and enjoying it. Well,
They
not
are.
necessarily enjoying it or having emotions to it.
Well, I mean, it's your second episode in,
Right.
and unless you knew, could you ever expect? Could you ever expect that to happen?
No, and
Like,
it's kind of the fun part for us is that we have a couple of good,
anchor points.
yeah, of like, ooh, have you?
Oh, ooh,
I want to see someone see this type of
yes.
thing.
Oh, yeah. That's where I'm at as well.
Um,
But
but
yeah, the show is, like you said, it's based on. It is not exactly shot for shot or anything,
as it should be.
but the things that are shot for shot are just as good,
Yep.
and they hit. They hit. I don't know. This thing is hitting where it's supposed to for me.
Well, let us know in the comments. Feel free to reach out to us on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
What you thought of the episode, what parts, were you in, out, what reactions did you have or others have? And then hopefully we will be back. Well, not hopefully, we'll be back next week to do the next
Hopefully, what's
episode.
happening? Infected are coming. I don't know about this. Come on now.
Yeah, I know. So again, this has been a real treat, Brad, working back and forth with you on this and
Yeah, I love it.
reliving this whole this Greek tragedy that is The Last of Us.
Yeah, we are celebrating horrible things right now.
So feel free to follow us on our socials. I'll check out the podcast that both Brad and I are part of, Scene Invaders Podcast, on YouTube as well as where you get podcasts. But you can meet the others,
The others.
the others of the podcast group.
They're pretty awesome too.
All right. Anything else, Brad?
No, sir. Have yourself a great night.